You thought we were gone, but we're back. It's been a month. We are here. For some reason, it's stuck on Leighton's face.
Has it actually been a month? Like, did you actually do that math?
It's been
Well,
over
it
a
said
month.
4 weeks. From
Yeah, I feel like it was over a month.
Welcome back to the 12th installment of Consistently Inconsistent Sports. I'm your host, Colin Morris. Joining me is somebody who I spent a lot of time with the last couple of days, doing some moving and shaking, a little shaking and baking.
We're doing heavy lifting, man. Heavy lifting. We don't mess
Little
around.
shake weight thing you were doing
There he
right
is. Yeah, I shouldn't have done the shake weight. It was supposed to be a little bit of shake and bake, but there's no way to do that in my
there?
pixelated area. But yeah, that's Michael Kinslow and that other guy, Leighton Martinwood. The boys, we're back.
Back and better than ever. And I think
Happy
we
New
can
Year,
say
guys.
that legally now
Happy-
since this anymore.
Oh, yeah. Colin, Mike, and Mike.
Sure.
We're
Well, we
calling
all have
Mike and Mike.
mics.
We do.
We are calling
do all
Mike
have
and Mike
mics.
with mics.
Mike, and Mike.
Cubed? CM cubed. Yeah, but we're back. You thought we were gone. A lot of stuff happened. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. So let's just get to it. What had happened was, first off, a little bit of fake news rolling around. Garrett Cole was supposedly traded from the Pittsburgh Penguins, almost said Steelers, to the Houston Astros.
You also said Penguins and it's Pirates.
Oh, it is. I
He
did
got
say
traded from
I said-
all of the Pittsburgh teams.
Guy from the Pirates. He's not even going, so it doesn't matter. So this was proven false. I did not personally contact the GM, but somebody for Yahoo Sports called the GM for Houston and said it's not true. We've been talking to a lot of teams about some stuff, but nothing is imminent. That's the latest on that. Got some fines that went down in the NBA. We got the Raptors and Heat got into a just straight up fight.
Brawl, baby.
James Johnson and Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka gave him a solid right.
Just a little
And then-
scuffle.
I mean, he clocked his
Yeah.
job when I saw it. That was a nice punch. It was better than any punch that Connor threw in the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight. But both of them got a 1-game suspension. DeMar DeRozan and Gore got $25,000 fine for being involved with that, and then Goran Dragic $10,000. And if you didn't see this, Isaiah Thomas, yes, the hope for all short people, the 5'7" extraordinaire, clotheslined 6'7" Andrew Wiggins, and was fined $20,000. So
With that height difference, is it really a clothesline or more like hit him
No.
halfway up the chest?
I don't know, because I feel like
A little dick punch.
Because on the video, they looked to be the same height, but it was clearly one of those. He was hunched over, and any other person, LeBron would have had to have like scooped you. IT's up here like, no, you're coming with me.
Okay, Colin, but was it better than the clothesline on the kick return in the Natty?
I think it was because Isaiah Thomas is 5'7" and Andrew
Yeah.
Wiggins is 6'7", so he's like, nope, you're coming down, son. And then he looked at him like, what do you mean? What did I do? You know what you did. You know what you did. And then finally today, Kirk Cousins, quarterback currently for the Washington Redskins, is reportedly considering talking to the Cleveland Browns in free agency. I like it. I think the Browns have the Brinks truck right now. Who's the highest paid player on the Browns right now? Probably Joe Thomas.
Yeah, probably.
And Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
The Joes. Give it to the
Oh,
Joes.
Joe Hayden's on Pittsburgh.
Oh, right. He's on Pittsburgh, not Joe Hayden.
So it's probably Joe Thomas, and then Jamie Collins is probably the second
Yeah,
highest paid.
that would make sense. Probably all
Yeah.
defensive guys after Joe Thomas.
Oh, and Pryor. Probably. No, Pryor's on the Redskins.
Pryor's on the Redskins.
I'm a year behind.
Dude, you're out of whack right now, man.
I thought for 2017 you go to 2016, but instead you're supposed to go to 2018. I
Maybe
guess that's how-
Johnny Manziel is next.
He did say he was considering.
Oh my gosh.
I'd love to see Johnny Football back in the league, man. I'd love to see it.
Please, you can be the backup for the Ravens. I'd like to see him run the offense. Just
I don't want that.
I need somebody that can do something with their legs. I'm kind of sick of just seeing Joe either throw the ball 35 yards, throw a slant to a wide open receiver, throw a screen check down pass, or laying flat on his back because he's been sacked for the 5th time in a game. It was just very depressing. It was just like this whole hype build up. There was like this. We talked. There was this week where they were like, Ravens, nobody can beat this defense. Oh my God.
You can.
And then Andy.
I mean, you can talk about depression all you want, but I was in the stands at the 50-yard line.
Oh, really? For that last
as
game?
It unfolded in front of me.
You were there?
As 4th and 12. Yes, I was there.
I didn't. You never told me you were there.
Yeah, I did. I said in the group me.
Oh.
The other group me.
Oh, okay. Stuff gets lost in that.
Oh yeah, dude, I was there.
Shout out to the good ones.
Boy, talk about like the ultimate high when we sacked Dalton to make it 4th and 12, and it was like, it's done. We're gonna be the 5 seed. We're going to Kansas City next week. The whole stadium knew it. We're all like that, just
there's that feeling. There's a feeling.
We're back in the playoffs, baby. Like look at what January Joe can do. And then boom, 4th and 12.
You were gonna say January
49 yards touchdown.
Like, golly.
Oh my God. It was the worst.
That was a moment of silence for the Ravens season. That was an unscheduled moment of silence. But back to Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
I think the Browns have all the money in the world, like we were saying. Like, yes, he warrants the amount of money from the Redskins that they would have to pay him more than what they were paying him with the franchise tag. That seems stupid.
Well,
I feel like the Reds, like if I'm Kirk, that's not what I want to do, because then I'm limiting the Redskins who need help in other places. Like the Redskins are not a good football team right now. Even with Kirk Cousins, they're not a good football team. And then they're going to have to pay Kirk Cousins an astronomical amount of money, probably make him, again, like it always happens, the highest paid player.
He's looking at pretty much.
The most overused headline in sports history is now the highest paid player in NFL history.
Well, here's something that I'm curious about, because I saw a report that for Cousins to come back to Washington, he's going to command that first-year deal to be worth exactly what it would be as if they franchise tagged him for a 3rd straight year. So that's going to be a $35 million cap hit, by far the largest in the league. So I'm not sure if that's just something that Kirk has come out and said, and it's like, hey, y'all have boned me 2 years in a row. Like,
I wouldn't pay up, dude.
But I think it might actually be a rule. Like, if you're going to tag a guy 2 years in a row, then the third, like, I think there's some kind of rule in there. I'm not positive on it, but
I feel like that would make sense though, because otherwise you could just keep tagging people year after year after year.
Well, 3 is the maximum for tags.
Yeah.
Like Drew Brees was tagged 2 years in a row, just like Kirk was. But there's also that little nifty transition tag that they could throw on him, and I think that would pay him like $25 million.
That's like, I feel like if you're Kirk, do you want to have that meeting for a 4th year in a row? Are you not sick and tired of this?
Like, well, it's not really Kirk's choice here. Like if they tag him, they tag him.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But like as a person, are you just sick of this process of like probably having contract talks every year for the past 2 years? Yeah, I'm sure.
Jay Gruden basically said, "Come up to a long-term deal. Let's move on. Like if we're gonna tag him again, I'm not doing this again."
Like who else on that team would you rather franchise tag then?
What other quarterback in the market would you rather have than Cousins? And I don't think I'd take any of the guys in the draft over Cousins.
But then here's okay. So I'll lay out a scenario for you. You have 2 teams. One has a lot of money and is very well off at a lot of key positions to be successful, except one. The other has a very solid quarterback at the moment. But the rest of it looks like what the other team used to look like a couple seasons ago on defense. So if I'm Kirk and the Browns are good to go, the Browns are QB ready. Like they are, put me in, draft Saquon Barkley, first pick or whatever picks they have. Draft draft Calvin Ridley if you want. I don't care. Like they're good on defense. Like I think the Browns are good enough on defense. Like they've been in games this year. The offense just has not been able to push them across the finish line. And I think Kirk and one more running back, I think you ship Crowell out somehow, maybe shift him to Crowell. Seems like a guy who would fit perfectly in New England. I don't want to throw another back to New England, but he just seems like he's got that kind of vibe of who a back that people don't believe in, and then he shows up in New England, and then Belichick turns him into an all-pro second team solid player. But
see, I don't really buy.
I think he goes to the Browns. Like it feels like it makes more sense than having to be the reason all the money in Washington is being paid on you, and then that money can't go to other places, and then you're relying on the draft. All right. What is this?
No, but that is Mr. John Elway.
Why?
Down on the screen. But
are you just laughing?
Colin, I don't buy your roster comparison here. The Redskins were probably the most depleted roster in the NFL, especially on the defensive end. And you can go back and see some of their games from early points in the season where that defense was nearing shutdown status. What they did to Oakland, what they did to Denver. Granted, not great offenses, but the defense has talent. Ryan Kerrigan is, I know he made the Pro Bowl. He might have made the All-Pro. He was close. Whereas you look at Cleveland, yeah, they have some scattered talent on defense, but that secondary is atrocious. Once again, they were in the bottom three pass defense.
I would say, they have that one guy. Who is that?
Jano?
No, the guy. The guy from Michigan.
They had Peppers, but he still hasn't really figured it out. Like he made a nice interception against Pittsburgh.
But I would say that they're closer and would have enough money to fill those gaps.
Oh, well, they have enough money to. They can throw money at every free agent.
That's what I'm saying. But that's my point. I feel like they're in a better position to do that and be successful than the Redskins are, because the Redskins want to be successful right now. They have to sign Kirk Cousins, but they also need help in other places. And it looks like if you give him a $35 million cap hit this year, that's insane. What else can you do? Not a lot.
Almost a third of
sign a right guard. Maybe sign a right guard. That's it. But then if you don't fill needs at other positions, find somebody that can fill the role, draft a quarterback in the draft. Is there some available? They're picking at 14. Josh Allen might be available. I don't know if they want to do that, but I don't know. I just don't feel like I feel like the Redskins are in a worse place to be successful in the next 5 years than the Browns are. I feel like the Browns will have more wins in the next 5 years than the Redskins.
I could believe that, yeah.
Someone write it down. Write it down just to make sure.
Put it on the board.
I also thought the Browns would win 5 games this year, and boy, was I wrong about that.
Yeah, well, you were just a year off. They might win 5 next year, and then they won 500% more games. So someone throw a statistic out there. It'll look great.
I also thought Kevin Hogan was going to be the quarterback, which I think he should have been the whole year.
He's definitely a little more Ben Roethlisberger-y, which is what you need, obviously, to be successful.
Well, he can actually do this thing called
throw,
passing the ball.
Yeah,
he can
always good.
Throw it to the right guys, like the guys in orange.
Speaking of people who can throw the ball, Monday night introduced the world to somebody that will go down in history as one of the greatest relievers in sports history. And that is Tua Tagovailoa.
Pretty sure it's Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. Thank you.
I'm definitely going with that.
Tagovailoa, something like that. If I remember correctly from the game.
Okay, this kid's a baller. Comes in, goes for 166, 3 TDs, 1 interception.
In the second half.
Not
even the game, the half.
And slight shout out to Najee Harris from Antioch, California, right near where my stepfather was raised. Came in and really gave the Alabama offense a nice push in the second half. Led the team in rushing, which when you have Bo Scarborough on your team and you're a freshman and you're fourth string and you come in and lead the team in rushing in the national championship game, it just leads me to a point I'll make later. But let's talk about what happened first. Georgia was putting their paw on that throat. They were choking this team out. And it was not pleasant to watch. As somebody was like, oh, Alabama's going to come in here and have this. Oh, this is going to be fine. They're just going to run the ball. Everything's going to be fine. This is not fine. Why does this keep... Oh, God, they keep getting first downs. Oh, my God. But the run game isn't working. Why are they still winning? Oh, my God, this kid's making It just unfolded. And it was everything you didn't want it to be. Leighton, what did Nick Saban do?
The man benched a quarterback who has thrown 1 interception and 200 some odd passes this year, who's lost 2 games as a starter.
He's like, what, 25-2? I think is what that's
25-2. Actually, he's now 26-2 because he did start the game. This would be last year's starting quarterback in the national championship, Jalen Hurts, who actually played pretty well in that championship game. In fact, threw that touchdown pass in the waning minutes that we thought was going to win it until Deshaun just walked down the field and ultimately won the championship for Clemson. But that was in 2016, 17?
No, technically 17, yeah.
That was ages ago, okay? Now we've got this Hawaiian acoustic playing, lefty tossing, touchdown balling.
The Hawaiian Michael Vick?
He didn't run quite like Michael Vick did, man.
Did you see that scramble?
I mean,
it was
not Michael Vick. It was not Michael Vick scrambling.
I'm gonna pull it up. Wasn't that on fourth down? He pulled out and he went right and then came back around and had Bo Scarborough lead him for a crate like 18 yards.
Wasn't that on fourth down?
Yeah, it was on fourth down. Like,
yeah,
come on.
But that was not Michael Vick levels of scrambling.
We have a half of football for this child. I have not pulled up the high school tape, but I'm sure if I pull up the high school tape, he's running.
Okay, but if we're going to compare him to anyone, might as well compare him to his fellow Hawaiian boy, Marcus.
And they went to the same high school.
Mariota.
They went to the same high school, which is crazy. Imagine, most high school programs are sitting around, like unless you're like the big shots who just funnel kids in and out the private schools. Imagine you're the school in Hawaii. Marcus Mariota comes to, Marcus Mariota is your quarterback. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. How could life be better? And then this other one shows up, who's a 5-star recruit. 2 5-star recruits in a row. Like, out of the same high school, that's insane.
It's crazy.
But that sack that he took.
Oh my God, like, this kid has I might call him Dory. What happened? I don't remember.
That was probably the worst sack I've ever seen. Like, on that stage to take that sack. That was
national championship. Overtime.
In overtime as a freshman. And then, of course, the first thing out of Kirk Herbstreit's mouth is some bullshit like, oh, just showing his youth. Some shit like that. And you're like,
And that knocked him way out of field goal range, especially with
especially after he missed 2 already.
Yeah.
But then the freshman to freshman connection. That kid had 1 catch for 41 yards and a touchdown. And that kid might have been the MVP because on the drive that they went down and missed the field goal on, which he would have already been the MVP. He basically made the game-winning play because they called defensive pass interference on him on the far sideline while they were driving down, trying to kick that put them in field goal range in the first place. So that kid was trying to make plays all over the field. He's like, guys, I'm trying to win us this game. Just give me the ball. And then the craziest thing that I keep trying to wrap my head around, when I looked at the stats on the ESPN on the box score, the leading passer was Tua, freshman, true freshman. The leading receiver was Smith, freshman. And the leading rusher was Najee Harris, true freshman. And they just won the national championship, and they have at least 3 more years each at Alabama. And Damian Harris is coming back next year.
And Nick Saban is immortal.
Yeah. I did hear a rumor he wants the Giants job.
I saw that on Around the Horn today.
Yeah.
They said that Bruce Arians reported that he covets the job, was what I saw.
Yeah.
Wait, Bruce Arians is already an analyst?
Yeah, I think it was a radio show. It might have been like Dan Patrick, or he might have been making the radio.
He got called in or something. But
okay.
Yeah, apparently Saban wants that job, or he's been thinking about that job.
Yikes.
Okay, so let's talk about that job, because that is a significant.
It's a big job.
Because
you're in the New York media market.
Showed,
yeah.
As Jim Harbaugh showed, it is not the same. Like,
as Nick Saban showed when he went the first time.
Exactly.
Pete Carroll is probably the most successful college coach to come back in recent years.
Yeah, so I mean, we got Chip Kelly, Saban, Harbaugh, Spurrier, all flameouts. I mean, Harbaugh had 3 great years and then kind of got ran out.
Everything after that ran out, yeah. But it's really just Pete Carroll.
Yeah. I'm sure like in the 90s, in the 90s there was Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
But
in more recent years, yeah, Pete Carroll's the most successful.
But if you're Nick Saban, how do you leave heaven? Like, it's not West Virginia, but geez, it's close. Like, in terms of the John Denver song, not the actual song.
I got that.
Let's talk about this Giants job though.
But
like,
I just mean in terms of like the differences. Like, is that really what Nick wants to do, or is he just slightly bored? And then unfortunately, he'll go for 2, maybe 3 years. There's no way you fire Nick Saban after 1 year. It's Nick Saban now. So you give him at least a 3-year buffer. That is, he probably keeps Eli. He probably drafts a quarterback. Because I don't think he takes his job this offseason. I don't think you do that.
I think if you take it this offseason, you just set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah,
because it's a mess right now.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy or Nagy, like the Giants were going all out to get him. And he thought that the Chicago job was...
He thought they were in a better spot in Chicago.
Because I think he worked...
That should tell you something.
A lot with Mitch Trubisky. And I think that having that trust and knowing what's there at quarterback makes you feel a lot better as a head coach. You
don't know what Eli has?
No. You don't know what's after Eli. You know what's there with Mitch. Like, you know that he's there. You know that he's going to. He probably already. That has to be a thing. He's an offensive coordinator. He's a QB coach. Like, he's definitely worked with them before. Like, they probably brought him in last year because they were trying out quarterbacks because they got Mahomes. So they were obviously talking to these quarterbacks from last year. So I feel like he probably had some sort of sense in that. And sorry, Ryan Nassib just doesn't, make me want to sit here and, oh God, Ryan Nassib. Like, God, like, calm down a little bit.
Ryan Nassib even still there?
I'm just rolling with that's the last person I thought. Oh, no, it was Geno.
Geno Smith.
Geno,
and
sorry, like Geno.
They drafted a rookie this year from Might have been Pittsburgh. No, from Cal.
Davis Webb.
Blanking on his name. Davis Webb.
Davis Webb.
Yeah.
I only know that. I listened to when I was living out there. I listened to Monday morning. Berkeley Sports Radio or like Oakland Sports Radio had him call in every Monday for the quarterback call-in show, and he was a pretty nice kid. But definitely not a starting quarterback in the NFL. That is for sure. Any fun? I mean, I think these two teams. I mean, we'll get back to the Natty. I think they're set up to just play each other in the SEC championship game for the next 3 years, as much as it hurts me to say.
Like, Georgia's got the number 1 recruiting class, right?
They got the number 1. Yeah, Georgia's got the number 1 recruiting class. Fromm is obviously coming back. They have Swift. Like, they just keep pulling these running backs. Like, oh, you thought we just had Michelle and Chubb? No, we got Swift. We got this other kid.
You got to think, though, like, even with Swift, losing Michelle and Chubb is going to –
That's what I was going to say.
Destroy that offense.
Yeah.
I think destroy might be too hype because I think they're slowly turning into Alabama. Like we said that before, like after Gurley left, and then it was just more of the same because all these guys are working together all the time. And it's not like they're bringing in 2 freshmen to take over. They probably have 2 or 3 guys who have been there this year who are doing the same stuff. I don't think there's going to be too much of a fall-off. There's definitely going to be a fall-off. I'm not saying this is not going to be a significantly worse offense, but it's not. Maybe drop
is
maybe
Wims
drop 70 yards a game. Maybe drop 70 to 80 rushing yards a game.
Is Wims coming back? The receiver?
I think so.
If he's coming back, then that'll be big. Yeah, because he got hurt. He wasn't playing most of the championship game. But if he's coming back, then that'll be good for them.
But yeah, I just think they're set up to play forever. Like not forever, but the next.
And I mean, the state of Georgia is a recruiting hotbed. Like, you even look at our recruits, you know, USC, so many of our guys, like, if they're not South Carolina guys, they're typically Georgia guys.
We're getting those southern Georgia boys that Muschamp was messing with back in the day, too. Those dirty South boys. But I also like that that this whole Saban-Smart thing played out the way it did. I think Smart might have needed a little reality check as well. And one other thing, I heard this the other day. It's crazy. Imagine Georgia losing to Alabama, but imagine if Georgia got Deshaun Watson out of Georgia, but Clemson was able to pluck him, Clayton, like you're saying. Georgia, that hotbed. Deshaun Watson, what if they kept him in state? Imagine that team.
Then we never would have lost to Clemson.
Ever. Exactly.
that 5-game win streak would have been a 9-game win streak.
We would have been messing with Chad Kelly. Chad
Kelly is directly the reason Clemson won a national championship. They have to give all the credit for that natty to Chad Kelly, or else Deshaun Watson would never have started there.
Oh my God, because it was totally like we're gonna let this white guy play. Like, he's been here for a couple years. Like, but I think this natty was definitely the best one. Shout out to Georgia for playing all the minutes they played, though. Like 3 overtime. All right, Jake.
Isn't that his Twitter name? name?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's hysterical though.
Jake Fromm's Twitter handle is Jake Fromm State Farm.
Pretty
Farm,
great.
If you want to sponsor the show, my email is moco29464@gmail.com.
Same thing goes out to Coors Light for that one night.
Yeah, Coors Light. The state of South Carolina for housing this event.
Right.
America, I guess. But let's move on to the most loved league in the whole wide country. That's the National Football League, right, boys?
The No Fun League, baby. Let's go.
The No Fun League. Yep, NFL. No Fun League. Let's talk about the divisional round matchups coming up. We got 4 of them. 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. First matchup, Atlanta at Philadelphia. 3 weeks ago, this would be a hell of a game. This week, Atlanta's going to whoop that ass.
Oh, poor Nick Foles.
Dude, I don't know,
Nick
man.
Foles.
I don't know. Nick Foles might drop another 7-touchdown game.
I really can't sense sarcasm from Michael.
Well,
I can't tell because he's so tiny on the screen. All right.
Am I sitting back too far? I'm too tiny.
There you are. Okay. Yeah. There's sarcasm there. Okay,
Let's move
It's
this.
We're only like 4 years removed from Nick Foles throwing 27 touchdowns and 2 picks. And he threw 4 touchdowns his first start this year.
This is the playoffs.
Playoffs?
And this is the team that just lost in the Super Bowl. I don't know, and they seem pretty healthy, which is kind of scary. Like a healthy Falcons is what the NFC did not want to see, and that's looks like what's happening.
But they gotta go to the city of brotherly love, man.
Yeah, but what are you gonna like? Jay Ajayi has not been Jay Ajayi. LeGarrette Blount, I guess, do you ride him? But then they know you're gonna ride him. You just stack the box.
Here's a funny tidbit about Jay Ajayi. Despite him starting for Miami for half the season and then becoming part of that 3-headed monster in Philly.
And part of a blockbuster trade in our fantasy football league involving myself.
God.
Still came in seventh.
Wait, what place did Leighton come in?
Not last.
Not seventh.
Not even second to last.
True. We're gonna come up with punishment.
Kenyon Drake had more yards this season, despite starting 5 games than Jay Ajayi.
I believe that.
Vastly amount more yards. Pretty crazy.
I believe that. So let's make picks. Michael, Atlanta, Philadelphia.
I'm taking the Nick Foles train, my friend.
Oh my God. Okay.
Put it on the paper. Nick Foles train. I believe.
And I would love to take that, and obviously they have so much talent on offense, and the defense. That front 7 is pretty wild.
Shout out to Alshon Jeffrey.
He's gonna have 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, the only
that secondary though really fell off the later half of the year. Who's the name of the corner they acquired from Buffalo in that Jordan Matthews trade? Regardless, he hasn't quite been that guy he was in Buffalo. He hasn't really moved the needle, so to say, for Philadelphia. But then you look at Atlanta, and Matt Ryan still can't seem to get the ball to Julio Jones. I think that changes in this game. 3 touchdown catches for Julio Jones. The Falcons win.
Ooh. Put them on, boys.
Oh, we can't. That's apparently white power or something now.
Oh, really?
No, this is the 3 glasses when you make a 3.
Well, Twitter these days turns everything.
I think if you flip it, probably
terrible.
It does that. You have to flip it. You have to flip your fingers to make a peep. Why are we talking about that?
Dude, Ryan Bowen's going to be throwing some 3s for us. That's what he's going to be doing next season.
If he plays.
Next season, not.
Yeah, he can't play this season. He's got to sit for 2 semesters before he can play.
He might also just enter the draft.
That's true. We'll see.
I don't think he will after not sitting for a year. If you're not caught up with quick college basketball break, South Carolina recently, as today, got a transfer from his name. It was Bowen. Last name
Brian Bowen the third.
Bowen
out of Louisville.
BB3, hashtag BB3. He's coming to the University of South Carolina to play basketball. 5-star forward. Was the 17th overall prospect in the 2017 recruiting class, according to ESPN, and currently 47th on Bleacher Report's draft board.
Big board.
Yeah.
He was also the whole reason the Louisville and NCAA scandal happened, and Pitino got fired.
I don't want to dive too deep, but yeah, so he's the whole reason why Rick Pitino doesn't have anymore. And we will take your sloppy seconds at South Carolina.
Exactly.
We just want to eat that W.
Back to football.
Next matchup. Titans versus the Patriots.
I mean, are we actually going to talk about this one? I don't feel like we need to talk about this.
Well, let all 3 of us. Why don't we say how many points New England's going to win by?
That's what we'll
Okay,
say.
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. I say 17.
I'm gonna go 24 points. I think it's gonna be 31-7.
New England's going to drop a 40 burger. They win by 31.
Oh, I like it. They might win by 50. Like this is going to be a terrible game. I hope it's that Saturday afternoon game.
I think they're going to drop at least 40, so I think they're going to win by 31.
Okay, well, what would your score be?
Oh, final score, let's say 40, 43 to like 12.
If that happens,
4 Ryan suck-up field goals.
A cake mix that you can bake yourself without dying.
We're gonna be treated with 4 Ryan suck-up field goals from Tennessee,
right?
South Carolina pride.
Go Cox, holding them together.
Michael, I'm calling your 30 bird, but I think they're going to drop 31-14. I see them kind of just running it at the end. I really don't see Bill being like
trying to run the score up.
I don't think he wants to. I think he's like, unless he just needs to like get some propaganda going, because that Patriots empire is just fueled like the Nazis. Like,
yeah,
and they need that next Tom great thing. What if he just drops 54, just slings it for like 6 TDs?
It's going to be like that Deflategate game against the Colts.
He just balls. Gronk has 4 touchdowns.
Dude, they're going to somehow
two between his legs.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Julian Edelman caught a touchdown on IR for this game.
I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and threw one.
They're going to reacquire LeGarrette Blount just for this game. He's going to score 3 TDs.
Unfortunately, I don't think that 5 minutes after the game is enough time to acquire.
Philly's just going to loan it to him.
No. He's going to come in like Bill Murray at the end of Space Jam. Da, 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 da. Okay, so we got those written down. Next game. Moving on to Sunday. Jacksonville versus Pittsburgh. I got some words about this one.
This one's going to be interesting.
I'm going to let you guys go first.
The Sunday slate is going to be so exciting.
I'm very excited. But Jacksonville is going to shock the world. I think that, what's today? The 10th. That January 14th, 2018 will finally be the day that Blake Bortles' balls drop. And he finds the way to finally put the ball in the end zone. I'm projecting 4 TDs for Blake Bortles.
Is he going to throw any to himself?
Dude, I don't know, man.
No.
Mariota.
2 interceptions. Pittsburgh's still going to win, but Blake Bortles is going to offensively ball out.
Interesting.
But, and I think I think Pittsburgh's offense is too overwhelming for the Jacksonville defense.
Dude, Colin is sitting here.
They are very good.
Colin's sitting here rewriting the Harry Potter book. Ireland wins, but Crumb gets the snitch. That's exactly what he just said. J.K. Rowling did it first, my friend.
Wait, no, didn't it also it happened before that too? I think while they were at Hogwarts. I think that happened where
like somebody caught it and they still lost.
I think Harry caught it and they still lost too. I think
it might have been. I'd have to go back and look for that, but
the only one I don't have is
he might have caught it too late or something. Too late in the game.
Okay, but I think Pittsburgh wins this game. I think it's close though. I think it's like something like 42-38.
Ooh, shootout.
42 on that Jaguar defense, man.
You don't think Jalen Ramsey's gonna have 5 picks?
Yeah, with one leg against Jalen Ramsey.
Antonio Brown with one leg is better than like 89% of the league. With 2.
I also think Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback in the NFL.
I mean, that's honestly
that's fair.
And then you look at AJ Boye, who's a top 10 guy himself.
Yeah.
I think the exact same thing happens in week 4 or whatever. Week 5. Yeah. Jacksonville wins 31-9.
Dang, Leighton is going lopsided Jags. Let's go.
I don't think AB is going to be healthy. So it's going to be all on Juju because I don't think Bell is doing anything against that front seven. I also don't think Bell has really done much this entire year in terms of actually running the ball. It's been a lot. He's had a lot of carries, but not so much in terms of per touch.
Okay. Well, Michael?
And, yeah.
Jaguars, baby. I got a pretty tight game, but I got the Steelers. I think Antonio Brown coming back, like Colin said, even if he's hobbled, he'll still do some things. He'll pull something out. So I'm going to go 24-21 Pittsburgh.
A little closer game.
Field goal decides it.
Defense. Yeah, it makes that defense look a little more respectable. Final matchup of the weekend looks
this is honestly the best game of the entire weekend. This game is so good.
You know what? We said it last week.
Best game of the year.
Is it though? That Rams Eagles midseason matchup was pretty good. That was when everybody was peaking. But yeah, well, I agree.
If you recall, this is a rematch from week 1 Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And the Vikings stormed that ass.
That was when the Saints were garbage, though.
Sam Bradford lit them up. Like, it was crazy.
That was before we knew who Alvin Kamara was.
This is true. Now, this is when Adrian Peterson was the Saints star running back.
Look at where now Case Keenum is the Vikings quarterback. Now Kamara and Ingram. Like, this is a completely different game.
I think this game I think it goes into overtime.
I hope so, man.
I say, who is the Vikings kicker?
It's not Blair Walsh, that's for sure.
It's he looks like he would be like a captain on Star Trek.
Wow, okay.
He was
it's Kai Forbath.
Kai. He even sounds like he would be a character in Star Trek.
Yeah, he sounds like a character from Star Wars. Kai. If I ever write that was a character from Beyblade. Shout out to Beyblades. I think Kyle Forbath wins this. I think this is also a shootout. Not close. I mean, I had the other one, 42-38. I think that the Vikings win this game 31-28. I think he misses a couple field goals in the game.
Pulling some Blair Walsh.
Low redemption.
Wait, so you think Kai Forbath misses some field goals, but the Vikings still win?
Yeah. Pulling it out in overtime. Winning in overtime. I could be wrong, and the Saints win 48-7. So, that's kind of the way I might be looking.
Put my man Drew Brees in the Super Bowl because the Saints are winning this ball game. And then they're beating Atlanta in the championship. This is going to be a great game, and as good as Case Keenum has been this year, as good as Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Rudolph, McKinnon, and who's the other running back from Oakland?
Latavius Murray.
As good as that offense has been, and as good as that defense is, this is Drew Brees we're talking about. With Alvin Kamara, with Mark Ingram, with Michael Thomas.
Don't forget Sean Hill.
With Ted Ginn Jr. This is
dude. That man
Coleman.
Ted Ginn crucified the Panthers last weekend.
He did.
He said, "You should have paid me." Touchdown.
I think just like you have it, Colin. I think it's going down to the wire. I think this one ends in regulation, though, and Drew Brees leads the 2-minute drill to win 35-28. No, I'm sorry, 35-31.
Okay.
They only needed a field goal, but he got him the touchdown.
I see.
Oh, you sneaky dog.
Yeah.
Michael?
I've got the men in purple taking the game in regulation. I think it's gonna be tight, pretty tight, but the Vikings are just stacked, man. Everywhere is stacked. They've got good running backs. Like, have you actually read their wide receiver core? Stephon Diggs, Michael Floyd, Adam Thielen, Laquan Treadwell, and Jarius Wright is the receiving core in Buffalo. It's just stupidly stacked. Plus, Kyle Rudolph is like top 5 tight end in the entire NFL most of the time. I think Kyle Rudolph shreds the defense of the Saints. I think he's going to be the issue here. And then
he's going to have a night. He's going to have a night for sure.
I think Xavier Rhodes has what it takes to shut some people down. I think he holds Drew Brees at least in a little bit of check. You know, it's not going to be just straight airing everything out. So I think the Vikings take it 28-21.
Oh, both defenses kind of stepping up there, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a crazy high-scoring game. 28-21 is still a decent scoring game, but I don't think it's going to be, 30-40s.
I like it.
Well,
but, oh, man, I'm so excited for this game, though.
We'll take a look at those next week when we reconvene. I think we're 2 weeks away from the MVP announcement, so I think it's time we take a look at that.
I think it's the night before the Super Bowl, right? Because that's the whole NFL honors.
3 weeks away from that. I think this is a two-man race. It could just be me.
Between Todd Gurley and Tom Brady?
Todd Gurley and Tom Brady. And I think, and if you're talking, what have you done for me lately? I think Todd Gurley wins because I don't think this is Tom Brady's best season that he's had. Tom Brady hasn't had.
It isn't.
What?
Yeah, I was just saying it is not his best season.
I don't think it's an MVP caliber season, and I think Todd Gurley had an MVP caliber season. Tom Brady did not win enough games this year in terms of like winning games. Like Tom Brady, the headline would read, Tom Brady wins game in final blank. He hasn't shown me that MVP greatness, and he's still great. He's just not playing MVP ball. Carson Wentz would have been my pick for MVP. He might still be a pick for MVP if I had a vote, just to give Carson a vote.
He's actually my pick. I think Carson deserves to win this.
I would rather see Carson or Todd Gurley win this award, and I would be happy with either. If Tom Brady wins this award, I'm calling collusion.
I'm going to have to plug my laptop in. I'll be back.
Who you got, Michael?
Marshawn Lattimore is having a season unreal for a rookie. So, is he in the MVP race? I'm not really sure, but definitely Rookie of the Year. Like, I don't see any other rookie that's even close to him in at least Rookie of the Year standings. I would put him in the MVP race just because of how.
But I don't think
Deshaun played enough to really put him. Like Carson at least had most of the season, but Deshaun didn't. Deshaun went out pretty early, so I don't think he would really be in the race. So Leighton, now that you joined us back, I said my pick would be Marshawn Lattimore.
Ooh, taking the Saints from the worst defense to somewhere in the top half of the league.
I mean, look at the guy's stats right now. He's got a total of 43 tackles on the year, 52 combined tackles. He has 1 forced fumble, 5 interceptions, returned for 85 yards and a TD. I mean, the dude's just balling right now as a rookie. So I said, possibly in the MVP race, definitely wins Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely win Defensive Rookie of the Year. But I really think Carson Wentz deserves this MVP award.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I just don't know, because he went out, is he still in the running though? Because he didn't finish the season. I mean,
he still finished with the second most touchdown passes in the league, despite missing 3 games or at 2.5 games. And you look at what Philadelphia did when he was gone. They put up 0 points against Dallas.
That's the definition of an MVP. It's true.
Todd Gurley was amazing. I mean, dude would have led the league in rushing if he played the last week of the season. Kareem Hunt ended up surpassing him because Hunt played every game. But to have, I think he almost had 800 receiving yards. This guy wasn't even a factor catching balls out of the backfield his first 2 years. And to get 800 yards, like, how do you almost get – he had almost 2,500 all-purpose yards, or around 2,500 all-purpose yards.
That sounds like an MVP.
Led the league in touchdowns.
I'm going to be upset with any of these guys. I'm really just going to be upset if it's Tom Brady.
My only thing with Gurley is that if a running back is going to win MVP just based off precedent, they have to have one of those all-time seasons. And 1,300 yards.
He had some of those all-time seasons. Like, but adding in the 800,
he had a great last month.
800 yards, I think, makes it a great season. Like, let's see. Adrian Peterson's.
But look at what Zeke did last year. He had 1,800 rushing yards and about 600 receiving yards. He wasn't the MVP.
How many TDs did he have?
Pretty sure he led the league.
I think he led the league too. But where was that?
I mean,
it was
the last running back to win the MVP was AP with the 2,000-yard season.
Right. And then in that season, he only had 217 receiving yards.
Yeah, he's never been a guy who catches balls out of the backfield.
But still.
And then the other guy you're looking at is LT, who set the record for most touchdowns in a single season.
Right.
I don't think, like, as good as a season as he's had.
So
Carson Wentz, meanwhile,
Zeke's rookie season, real fast.
One fewer
300 receiving yards.
Zeke had 300 more yards and 2 more touchdowns.
And had almost over 400 yards less receiving and only 1 receiving touchdown. I mean, Todd Gurley arguably had a better season this season than Zeke did last year.
All-purpose wise, yeah, I would say he did.
And I would say in today's game, in the world, in the PPR world that we live in, because, I mean, you can say it, ESPN shifted to their standard format to PPR. Standard is no longer standard. PPR is standard. Like, that's what we want now. Like, that's what you want. Like, Alvin Kamara is probably going to be that in a few years. Running, catching, doing whatever you need me to do. So will Sony Michel for the Baltimore Ravens with the 16th pick in the NFL draft. The Baltimore Ravens select.
Man, I don't want a running back, dude. We have
Calvin
Alex
Ridley.
Collins. That dude is a beast.
Calvin Ridley if he's there, Cortland Sutton if he's there, and James Washington if you're there. Holla at your boy in Baltimore.
You know who probably would have won this MVP if they made the playoffs? Russell Wilson.
100%. Mine, yeah.
Didn't he account for like 70% of the Seahawks offense or something like that this season?
Yes. It was the most in NFL history for a single player. He led the league in touchdown passes. 10th in quarterback rating, which rating isn't even like a real stat. Just there's so much advanced metrics and
he was 17 yards short of a 4,000-yard season. He threw 61% of his passes. Threw 34 touchdowns. Let's see. Oh, God. There's no rushing. There's no rushing.
Oh, my God. That is a crazy stat. Well, he's looking for this. So App State in 2017 had a higher average attendance than the LA Chargers did.
That's beautiful.
That is one heck of a stat right there, man. Wow.
Wow. Okay, so here we go. I love Pro Football Reference. We're getting sweaty in here.
Great site.
Both of you give me a number. Which down do you think Russell Wilson runs the most on?
Third.
Layden?
Probably third too, yeah.
Both of you are wrong. It's by double. In last place, we have 4th down. He ran twice. It's 1.9% of the time. 3rd down, he ran 23 times, 21.7% of the time. 2nd down, 31 times, 29.2% of the time. And in first down, 50 rushes, 47.2% of the time.
He was their offense, just like Cam was Carolina's offense.
It's ridiculous. But their offensive line is so bad. Like, if their offensive line was any good, they would be still in. We wouldn't be talking about the defense being terrible. We wouldn't be talking about Cam Chancellor going to,
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas going to the Cowboys. When we talking about the end of the Legion of Boom, we'd be talking about another championship for the Legion of Boom if that offensive line was better. R.I.P.
So this is a pretty wide open race, I want to say, in the MVP.
I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna be mad either way.
You know what's another crazy stat that I just saw?
No.
In 2003, there was 11 running backs with over 1,300 yards, and then this year the leading rusher barely had over 1,300 yards.
Just better. It's just more talent, I guess. You know,
just transcendence of the league, man.
It's crazy how much it changed.
Did we?
Yeah, because then you look at New Orleans. Ingram had 1,100 yards, and Kamara had 800 yards.
Like, combined, they almost had a 2,000-yard season.
Yeah.
Well, any last thoughts on this last month, guys? Anything that jumped out to you? We didn't put anything down in the notes.
South Carolina won their bowl game.
Yeah, South Carolina won bowl game. Talk about that.
Go Cox.
Go Cox.
Talk about embarrassment from the Michigan side and Jim Harbaugh side. Man, that was
how many
brutal.
There was so many turnovers in that game. It was actually ridiculous.
And all of their turnovers were in the second half. I think they had 5. 3 picks and 2 fumbles.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but we have a fight between Damian Lillard and
CP3.
CP3 came at him with a garbage time layup. No need for the layup. Damian had some words to say. More on that next week, if anything happened more than we saw.
There is something I want to talk about, guys.
Bring it up.
We have seen the last. This is unfortunately, but we have seen the last of Monday Night Football's Gruden grinder.
This is true.
Oh, man, we didn't.
Oh, do you guys want to take bets on who's going to fill the spot?
Well, I hope they fire Sean McDonough. Also, a big key is that ESPN will not be doing Monday Night Football when their contract ends in 2019 or 2020.
That is correct. Watch out, Amazon.
Yeah, ESPN cannot afford it.
Right. I think they're going to be ESPN can afford whatever they want. They're backed by the Mouse, and the Mouse just paid $59 billion for 21st Century Fox. I think the money's fine. They just don't know what they are. I think we're seeing a company, which is interesting with ESPN, which we'll get back to Gruden, but this is interesting. We're seeing a company who we've all been around our entire lives that we don't know the world without ESPN, correct? Like, it's weird. But we're now seeing that company, which has always been one thing. It's been ETI at 5:30. It's been Around the Horn at 5. It's been SportsCenter at 6. It's been a basketball game at 8 o'clock. People's lives are no longer structured for ESPN to flourish the way they used to be. But they're not exactly doing the best job at changing into something that people can still use in their lives. Like, I don't want ESPN to be that clip company on YouTube, but it's all I get now. Like, I get like 25 1 to 6 minute clips that are just clips from a sports center that they showed on TV. Not really what I'm looking for. And I'm not mad at Gruden for getting out of that. It's not like
especially for $100 million over 10 years.
Yeah, and definitely some ownership stake too. And
to
Vegas.
I mean, he's not going to get ownerships. Even if like that was part of the contract, it's not going to get approved.
It will eventually.
But I'm excited for Gruden, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited to get the scowl back on the sideline.
Yeah, I just don't see how you give a coach who has
I tell you, man.
a 500 record $100 million.
And then,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Like the contract is absurd.
Mark Davis is like, there's something wrong with him besides his haircut and besides the way he eats up in that booth. But
he has unlimited money. It doesn't matter. They're just trying to go big. They're going all in on the go big. We want to have the most expensive quarterback.
But his career regular season record is .54.
But Michael, interesting question. Are you the same person that you were 10 years ago?
He also hasn't coached in how many years? 10 years?
I know. That's what I'm saying. The game's changed, but
yeah. So are you willing to bet on a coach who was already barely above 500, who hasn't coached in 10 years, who's been out of the game for 10 years to come back?
He has not been out of the game in a sense. In terms of coaching, yes. But he is just as much in the film room as any other coach, and he's been watching.
I would say he's more
exactly.
He's more informed.
I say he's more informed because he's been meeting with different teams, 2 teams a week, every week for the last 4 or 5 years now, and that's every team over and over and over again, checking on everybody, learning how every organization works. What more do you want? You don't want a guy that's just been in the quarterback room in Kansas City. No, you want a guy that's been in every quarterback room in every city. And that's exactly what Gruden is. And nobody knows, I think, young quarterbacks better right now than John Gruden.
And he's been key on that ESPN NFL draft coverage.
QB camp.
And his QB camp. Like, he knows all these young kids coming out into the draft this year. I think Oakland's going to have a great draft, which is going to be the first key.
And now you have, which is crazy, but Derek Carr is now a veteran of this league. He's 27. That's
and the second highest paid quarterback in the league, player in the league.
Third. But I think he's exactly like Gruden had. Who do you have? Brian Johnson, right?
Brad Johnson. Won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson.
Exactly.
His best quarterback
with Brad Johnson.
His best quarterback ever was Jeff Garcia in the later stage of his career.
That's insane. So, Michael, you don't think it's?
I think it's going to be a disaster.
Okay, let's
I think his drafts and whatnot are going to be fine. I just don't think it'll pan out on the actual field of play.
I just think the team's set up for just new energy, and I think his energy is what they want in Las Vegas. I don't think you can hire if you're Oakland. I don't think you can hire Matt Nagy as your head coach to take you to Vegas as a guy who, you know what I mean? Like the way he described it, he was a Canadian Football League player who got a chance to coach for the Eagles, and then Reed brought him with him, so he doesn't have crazy experience. But Gruden's been around the barn, and I think they're looking more big picture than they are right now. They're looking at this as we need a face for our franchise, because Leighton, like you said it, Mark Davis's face is
dude, it's god awful.
It's fugly. It is when you see the word fugly in Urban Dictionary right next.
It has to have a picture of Mark Davis.
That's not what you want. You want John. You will never hear Mark Davis again because of how loud John Gruden is. And I wish I still lived in Oakland, because then I can just hear that man all the time. And he's going to be on the radio all the time. Oakland's going to soak him up while he's there, and they're going to fall in love with him again. And then, boom, they go off to Vegas. Vegas loves him. They know him from TV. I think it's a win-win for everybody because I think he needed to get out of that booth because I was getting a little sick of it. Next person that needs a job, let Chris Collinsworth go coach the Bengals.
And imagine that locker room after like a typical practice. Gruden's in there giving out Gruden grinders for a practice day.
You guys
like everybody's practicing harder because they want to get that Gruden grinder.
I'll go pick you up a chain. Let's go get a chain. We'll call it like I don't know, the Raider patch. So he wears an eye patch, like the logo.
The turnover patch.
The turnover patch. Put it on.
Like even Marcus Mariota, they asked him about him throwing that touchdown pass to himself, and his response was, "Got to do what you got to do to get that Gruden grinder." Even Marcus Mariota wants it. Like
Michael made a great point while we were picking up some stuff from a storage unit. He said that Mariota would have gotten 12 points on that play for fantasy.
Yeah.
He could have thrown the ball and caught the ball. Like
passing insane. Touchdown and receiving touchdown.
It was like a 6-yard touchdown, so we would have gotten like 12.6 points.
Or it would have been 10 point something points because you only get 4 for passing. But
okay. The commish would know. The commish has spoken. Well, guys, I mean, that kind of sounds like a good place to wrap this up. I mean, this was fun. Getting back.
Colin, I do have one more question to ask you.
Please ask me.
Why is every single cabinet in your kitchen open?
Wow, I didn't notice that. We did just go to the store a little while ago before, like, the last place we were at the store.
It's like not every single one, but it's pretty dang close.
So this one, hold on. So let's focus on me. So this one right here is kind of always leaning. And then that one is kind of always leaning. That one's just open. But these two do have a slight lean to them.
Okay. Because like you also have like 3 drawers open as well.
So embarrassing. trying to produce this podcast.
You get cut slack. You just moved in. You get cut some slack.
Yeah.
Now, if we do this podcast a year from now and they're all still open, then you got some explaining to do.
Yeah, we'll have some real questions.
Have to install those like baby lock things. No baby's coming. But just to keep them closed to make them look good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it for this 12th episode of Consistently Consistent Sports. Joining me as always, Leighton. It was always a pleasure to
always
with the homies. Let's get that Bonnaroo thing rolling, bro.
Oh, let's do it, man.
Michael, you want to go to Bonnaroo?
Dude, if I can find a job, yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're all gonna go to Bonnaroo. It's just been planned. The Roo Crew is growing. If you want to be part of our Roo Crew, you can find us at Brick Squad. Just shout it, and we will find you.
You can also like and share and subscribe and stuff. That helps your case.
Definitely, definitely helps your case.
Yeah. The buttons.
There's somewhere right below.
Shout out to the one person who's been watching us the entire time. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's me because I have it pulled up on my other screen.
Well, thank you for our biggest fan, Michael.
Michael, shout out to my fan. We just went podcast. It's a podcastception. But yeah, Michael, thanks for being our biggest fan.
Dude, I got to talk to the few people that get in the live chat. Corey was trash talking Johnny football earlier.
Man.
Oh, none of that in here. It's a pro Johnny pod.
Yeah, we're very pro Johnny. Pro Johnny all the way. Yes, this has been the 12th installment of Consistently Consistent Sports. My name, Colin Morris. Find me at _C Morris. Leighton at Leighton Markwood, and Michael at Chunky Taco.
Yay.
We'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Enjoy the football. Deuces.
Oh, shake weight.
Oh, yeah, shake weight.